Blanca is my best friend since high school. She's the type of friend who will stick with you through thick and thin. When I have concerns or unanswered prayers, even though she has her own challenges too, she will take time to cheer you up and to help you. I love it when she reminds me not to worry because everything is ready in the plan of God, that bigger blessing awaits, and always trust and do not be afraid. For my answered prayers and victories, she's always there to celebrate it with me too. So it's very rare to find a friend like her.
She has taught me that anything is possible through hard work, perseverance, and grit and grace. She inspires me to look at life in a positive but realistic way and reminds me to enjoy every stage of life that I go through, to never rush. She is always there for me, a constant and rock that I can lean on both in good times and bad times.
Blanca is my rock and my north star. She inspires me to reach after my dreams and my goals. And sabi nga niya, kahit hilahin niya ako sa buhok para lang matapos namin ang mga pinaplano namin. More than that, she's also my prayer warrior. You can depend on her to pray for you, especially during those times na wala ka na sa sarili at hindi mo mapagdasal pati sa sarili mo.
You're such a wonderful sister. A great deal of my peace of mind comes from knowing that you're there with our parents and with mommy especially, because I'm so far away. You even take care of me even if I'm far away. You're somebody that I can't imagine my life without, and somebody I really, really love and admire. I miss you. Enjoy.
Good evening and welcome to Season 2 of BCBP Mission Go Live. If you are grieving the loss of a loved one and you feel a deep sense of helplessness, if you are searching for answers, directions, or just making sense of why you are in the middle of this sadness, then I invite you to listen to the journey of a widow who, through God's faithfulness, found the grit that took her from grief to grace. Jesus said that whoever drinks the water that he shall give will never thirst. He is the living water, and we bring him to you through the stories of people whose thirst he has quenched. I am your host, Dennis Bunye, and this is Thirsty Thursdays. First of all, a big shout out to all of you watching us live, and for those of you watching the replay. Hello to all our BCBP Alabang chapter members and all other BCBP community members out there. And most especially, hello to our family and friends. Please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for BCBP Alabang. And remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for notifications. I am Dennis Bunye. I am a professional life and corporate coach and a proud member of the BCBP, the Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professionals, Alabang chapter. This Go Live online series is one way that we live out our BCBP mission of bringing Christ to the marketplace and winning the marketplace for Christ. For this season, let us witness how God's works through the lives of people, stories of real life made inspiring by the touch of God. And to all our viewers, please chime in to tonight's conversation and type in your questions, comments, and insights. Now, she is a teacher and mentor at Paref Woodrow School. She is a writer for various print and online publications. She is the author of the book Grace Upon Grace, which was cited by the Cardinal Sin Catholic Book Awards and Catholic Mass Media Awards as the 2019 Best Book in Family Life. And most especially, she is the loving mother to her lovely daughter, Bianca Angela. Let us all welcome Blanca de la Cruz.
Hi, Dennis. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Hello, Blanca. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for saying yes to be our guest for tonight.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me also.
Yeah. Blanca, in behalf of all of us whom you have inspired, I'd like to thank you for spreading positivity, hope, and grace through your book, through your blog, and through your speaking engagements. No? Your book, Grace Upon Grace, is, as I understand it, your personal journey of faith. Diba?
Yeah.
Can you take us back to the time in your life where, you started this and you were feeling a sense of loss and helplessness because of your grief?
Actually, Dennis, I was thinking about what happened before, right? And right
Mm,
now, I cannot really, parang, I cannot anymore remember how we felt like then. Para
mm,
kasing parang I guess the Lord's grace made me forget about the pain already.
mm,
When my husband died, I
mm.
remember I don't recall feeling any pain at all. In
Oh.
fact, it was the
Mm,
opposite. There was a general feeling of numbness instead. I guess numbness, hopelessness, yes, loneliness, of course. Also despair after he passed away.
mm,
There was those there was those feelings of hopelessness, despair, and all. But then, as for the pain, I guess I wasn't screaming and crying in pain at the time. I was sort of like parang resigned to it, resigned to everything na lang. Parang ganun yung feeling ko. And I
mm.
guess reflecting on that experience, I guess what brought me to where I am right now is really God's grace. That was the sort of it all. Parang I am here right now. The determination, the perseverance, the resolve. I guess to endure what I had to endure. All of it is because of God's grace, and of course the love and support from my family and friends.
At that time, Blanca, I mean, I'm not a stranger to loss as well. And parang one thing that strikes me is that there's this sense of loss and you're looking for parang handle on where to start again, di ba?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Actually, yes. Yun yung pinakamahirap na part. I remember, waking up every morning, parang it took every ounce of my energy and willpower to do that.
Mm-mm.
Because parang I felt like suddenly a rug was pulled under my feet. I lost my footing. I lost my bearing.
Yeah.
Parang I lost all sense of balance. Parang I cannot really um, know where to start. Parang ganon. I was so lost. That was the general feeling at the time. Na parang hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo. And all you can do is really pray. Pray for the strength and also pray for the, I guess yun nga, willpower and strength to um, go on every day. Para kasing when you're grieving, parang hindi mo maintindihan kasi the world continues. Parang you continue to face the world that doesn't seem to stop just because you're grieving. Parang tuloy ang buhay ng iba pero ikaw parang hindi. So yun, there was a general feeling of, yeah, feeling lost, out of balance and all.
Hmm. And in all of this, how was this affecting your personal life and your work life and even your siguro your faith? Yeah.
Um, Actually, work became my therapy, going back to work. In fact, a week after my husband passed away, I went back to work already to the surprise of my colleagues because, Woodrose has been very supportive during that time. They actually wanted me to take a leave off from work, but I had to work because I had to get that semblance of parang normalcy in my life. So I went back to work. Parang it became my therapy for me. So parang I went on working. Um, I would remember I would teach. Parang just like any normal day in my class, I would teach. I would still be the funny Mrs. De La Cruz in class. But then when I
Hmm.
go back to the faculty, they would find me crying in the corner. So parang my co-teachers didn't know what to do with me. So they just let me cry in the corner. And that time, I really appreciated that because when you're, diba, when you are going through grief, when you are, um, yon, parang all you needed to do was the space to, I guess, cry it out. You need that. So yon. So parang that for me, work for me was a therapy. That for me gave me the parang sense of normalcy in my life. And then I guess kasi I was raised in the faith. So my dad was an ex-seminarian. So talagang at a young age, he really taught us to really depend on the Lord. And also my mom is a Marian devotee. So parang the rosary became my parang comfort. So I would really do that. Pag hindi ko na alam ang gagawin ko, when I don't know what to do with sorrow, I would go to the oratory in our school. I would pray the rosary, or I would just sit in a quiet corner and really pray. So there.
And you also, aside from being a teacher, most especially, you are also a mom, no? So how was it with you and Bianca at that time?
Bianca was around 11 at that time. I'm really thankful that my family was really there for us because at that time I had to admit I had a hard time mothering Bianca. So I really appreciated that my mom was there to do the caring, which I cannot provide at that time because I was so lost in my grief and sorrow. So it was my
Yeah.
mom who really took care of Bianca while I was grieving, and also my sister who would really talk to her until such time that I was really ready to face, I guess, being a mother to her. Um, I had to admit it was really hard because I was so lost in my grief at that time. And also because si Bianca was very close to her dad. So parang growing up, he would really, parang mas close siya sa daddy niya than me. It was only later on that we became really, really close. So it was hard. I was at a loss also on how to handle her at that time. So it was really all the help of my family, and also I guess my sister, my mom, and also our friends.
Okay. That's nice. Kasi 'di ba parang that's also the challenge that you just cannot leave everything behind eh. Sabi mo nga eh, parang you're at a pause pero everything still around you, 'di ba? Tuloy pa rin yung buhay eh. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing from you, no? And so when was the time that you felt that you were starting to pick yourself up already and no uh, getting into that uh, life where you can really continue where you left off.
Actually, I cannot really remember exactly when, but then one thing that really, I think it was when Bianca became very sick. That snapped me out of my grief. Parang it pulled me out of this parang cloud of sorrow, and to really parang it forced me to face the problem. Sabi ko nga it was one of our blessing also. Parang it was God parang directing us or directing me again na parang okay, there's still, you still have this life, you're still a mother, you really have to focus on the present, on what's really important, on what you have to do. So yun, I guess that tragic event, that second tragic event that happened, yun yung talagang really forced me out of my grief and really made me focus on the present, and I guess focus on Bianca as well.
So did you feel that on this parang second tragic event, you were strong enough to take this second tragic event, or was it still, a moment of weakness when it happened?
I didn't think na I am weak or I am strong, but then that time I just had to do what I had to do. Parang yun lang. I just kept on praying for the Lord to give me strength. I just kept on praying for guidance so that I can do the best decision I can make for my child. Parang Hindi ko na naisip yon. Basta I depended on the Lord. I prayed and I prayed and I asked for the Holy Spirit to guide me, to direct me on what course of action to take, on um, the decisions that I have to make. So parang yon, yung parang habit of prayer, habit of asking the Holy Spirit for guidance and direction, nakatulong kasi parang slowly I gained my, I guess, my bearing back. I gained my strength back, I guess.
Mm-mm.
So,
Mm-mm.
yun.
So parang what I'm hearing you say, Blanca, is that you were actually surrendering and lifting up this all these things that's happening to you,
Yes.
one after the other. Yeah.
Yes, I guess.
Mm.
Oo. Parang, like what I told you nga a while ago, di ba? Parang,
Mm.
my dad kasi, it was actually my dad who taught me that to depend on the Lord,
Mm.
to surrender everything, to let Him direct your path. So when he died, that's what I did. So when
Mm.
Nan died also, it was easy for me to say, your will be done.
Mm.
Because it has been taught to me by my dad to just do that. And
Mm.
also when Bianca got sick also, it was easy for me to do that because it has become sort of like sort of like a habit already for me. It was easy for me to surrender because the many times that I did, he did not really leave me. Parang I felt his presence, I felt his loving guidance and all.
Mm. Okay, that's nice to know. So, um, it seems that with what you're saying is that you're finding that strength as well. You're letting the Lord be your pillar of strength, diba? So how did how did your encounter with the Lord deepen your faith? When did it happen? Um, was this during during the time, or the time that you already entered into community?
I encountered the Lord as early as 3 to 4 years old.
Hmm.
Because of my family. Because, like I said, my dad was an ex seminarian, so he would bring us to different churches. We would pray
Hmm.
together. I remember my sister and I, while the other children were playing Saturday night or watching television every Saturday night, we would be
Hmm.
going around the neighborhood and bringing the black rosary around. So
Hmm.
the Lord was really a big part of my life. We were encouraged to join parish organizations when we were teens. Um, and then, but then when I became an adult, I chose to do the single faith journey. So I did not join any community. I was just lucky that I was employed in Paref Woodrow School, who provided spiritual formation, which I during the time that these tragic events happened in my life really helped me. So I guess when Glennis invited me to join the BCBP community, it was
Hmm.
really time because I was thinking my husband and I, kasi we were invited also to join community life, but we never really felt the desire to do that. Maybe because it wasn't the right time yet, or maybe we weren't meant to be in the community during his lifetime. But then
Hmm.
when Glennis invited me to join the BCBP, or to attend the BCBP breakfast. So I think I was ready to, I guess, reach out and connect to other people. So
Hmm.
so I like that when I joined the CLP, I I I learned about the other, stories of other people, how they
Hmm.
went through tragic events in their life as well and their harrowing experiences. Those stories humbled me and made me feel really grateful that the
Hmm.
Lord has been kind to me despite what happened all these years. And also, I guess when I joined the Christian Life program, CLP, I learned so much more about, I guess, the faith and also about Jesus. Because, like when I was going through this single faith journey, I know him as the great provider. I know him as the great cheerleader when I lost my husband. But then when I joined the CLP, I learned so much more about him pa. Kumbaga, mas nadagdagan pa, mas na-deepen pa yung I guess knowledge ko and faith in Christ. So they're also in the community, kasi I'm an introvert, so I move
Mm.
in a small social circle. So when
Mm.
I joined the community, my world expanded. So parang I met so many people who turned out to be good friends, life coaches, spiritual mentors. So
Mm.
parang yeah, my world literally expanded. So parang I learned to reach out, I learned to connect with people, and also I found joy in service also when I joined the community.
So during the CLP, the Christian Life Program, diba, which runs for about 13 Saturdays, diba? Um, how welcoming was it for you? And was there any parang inhibition that you came in without Nan? Because this happened
Yeah.
after Nan's passing. That's how
Yeah.
that's how I understand it. Okay.
When I joined the yung first day of CLP, I was really parang I was really quite surprised at how welcoming everyone was. Parang I wasn't prepared for the
Mm.
warm welcome. Kaya parang it parang ang galing so that made me want to come back on the second Saturday. And
Mm.
then my issue that time was yun nga parang that was this wasn't for me because mostly couples. But then
Mm.
nawala naman yun because yung my group was very welcoming, and also they really took good care of me during the CLP. At saka parang the topics are really good na parang hindi
Mm.
ko na naisip yon, basta I just want to come back. I just want to keep on coming back because the talks were really interesting, and I've been learning so much about the faith. I thought I know more. I thought my knowledge of Jesus and the Lord was enough, but then when I attended the CLP, I learned so much more. Yun, I guess that's what kept me from attending and coming back during the CLP.
So, Blanca, how were you experiencing the Lord's presence differently during the Christian Life Program?
I guess through the people
Mm.
there in the CLP, parang I felt his presence more through my group mates like that. Yung parang the Lord was speaking through to me through the speaker, parang ganon. So parang whatever message he has for me, all of a sudden the speaker would say it na parang wow, ang galing, kakaisip ko lang. That was my prayer last night, and then the speaker
Mm.
was telling me this. So parang that's how I experienced the Lord during the CLP.
Okay. So, during this time, how were you being led out of that state of grief?
Um, I guess when I joined the CLP, I was already, I guess, in a good place. I was in a good place already because that was 2 years after Nan passed away already.
Mm.
I was already in a good place. And then I think the CLP helped me in a way to move forward, to keep on moving forward, to keep on pressing forward. And also, yun nga, to go out of myself, to go out of my comfort zone and really connect with people, and try to use whatever talent I have, resources, or what I can offer for the service of others. It was actually in BCBT that I really opened up myself to the joy of service.
That's nice. Um, in how were your conversations like with the Lord during this time?
During the CLP, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Parang I was telling him or asking him, is this really what you want from me? And I guess
Mm.
during that time, I felt that his answer was a yes. So I kept on attending, and I kept on joining the CLP. I think
Mm.
that was 2 Saturdays or 3 Saturdays before the end of the CLP. I was even telling Glennis, I'm not sure if I'm really for this community, or if I should still attend. Kasi
Mm.
parang there were doubts, of course, along the way.
Mm.
But then the speaker suddenly was again the Lord spoke to me through the speaker. So parang lahat sinasagot niya, unti-unti. So there.
What was a common theme that you were receiving during your Christian Life program?
Um, I guess this is where I want you to be at this moment. That was
Hmm.
the message I was getting from the Lord. This
Hmm.
is where you're supposed to be at this moment.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How was it also healing you from the experience?
The community, I mean, I guess new friendships, newfound friendships in the
Hmm.
community, parang the companionship, and yung thought that these people are genuinely becoming my friends. I guess
Hmm.
that sort of also helped
Hmm.
also make me move forward. Na parang,
Hmm.
itong mga taong to talaga would really be there for me. Because, the worry of a widow is always, the worry of a widow is always yung, meron ba akong matatakbuhan pag may nangyari sa amin? And
Hmm.
these people made me feel like at any time of the day, pag kinailangan ko, meron akong matatakbuhan. And, totoo nga yun. Because when we had another medical scare, it was really the people in the community who showed up in the hospital to help me arrange everything for Bianca.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us more about that? Experience? Because you were saying that when you came in, parang you were more reaching out, you were more open to, meeting new people as well. How was that? How was that experience?
Um, well, we had this one medical scare. Bianca
Mm.
went to one medical scare where we were quite surprised on what's happening with her. So
Mm.
we had to consult from one doctor to another, and then during that time, my action group um, was really helping us arrange everything. So sila Gia showed up in the
Mm.
hospital when we were about to do tests, and then when she had to be admitted to the hospital, si
Mm.
Francis and Michelle, they
Mm.
were the ones who really brought us to the hospital. Basta
Mm.
ganon, parang it was always the common story that they would always show up during the time that we needed them the most, and they would really
Mm.
be there for us and for my family.
There's a question. There's a question here from which I'd like to pick up. No, Blanca. This is from Kai Feldia. I have a couple of friends who lost their husbands to COVID during that time. What did you appreciate to hear from your friends? On the other hand, what are the comments, conversations did you find annoying during that time?
Okay. For someone who's grieving, the only thing that would really console them, the only thing that you can really tell them that would really console them is that I am praying for you. Because sometimes when pagka namatayan ka, ang dami-daming sinasabi ng mga tao, 'di ba? Um, but then sometimes what you just want quiet, parang hindi naman sa ayaw mong marinig 'yon, but you would appreciate more people telling you, I'm praying for you, so what can I do to help you? And really do something. Yung parang hindi lang dun sa, call me when you need anything.
Hmm.
We appreciate more yung you would show up and really be there. So
Parang
parang,
presence. Parang
yes,
that's what I'm
presence and
hearing. Yeah.
action actually.
Oo.
Also, I
Oo.
appreciate my friends checking up on me at any time of the day, telling me how are you, and they would really engage me in a conversation, not about death. We don't want to really hear about kamusta na, anong nafe-feel mo ngayon and all, but really, normal conversation. And you wait for I guess, the one who's grieving to open up. I guess we appreciate that when when they would tell us na, you know, I am praying for you, and then would really check up on you often, yun. And also yung the annoying part, I guess, yung I guess when people tell you na, nasa ano na siya, I always hear this parang nasa mabuti na siyang kalagayan. So parang, like people are forcing you to accept and let go. With those
Hmm.
actually are when they're grieving or just recently lost a loved one, you cannot
Yes.
really force them to accept right away. So it takes time. So it doesn't really help when you tell them na those kind of things.
That's true. Especially now, siguro that, unlike before that you can be physically present, ngayon, even if you want to, with all the restrictions, all the more that what you say can really make a big difference, diba?
Actually, one
Oh.
text message or
Mm-mm.
one Viber message can do a lot to someone who's grieving. Asking them how they are, what do they need, and really sending whatever they say they need. Yung parang yun nga, more of action rather than words.
Mm.
Kasi you can always say, I'm going to pray for you, but then sometimes
Mm.
prayer is not enough. I guess
Mm.
what would really bring so much comfort is the fact that they can really feel your presence and also, your help. Na you're someone that they can really depend on if they need anything. Parang ganun.
Mm. Thank you for that, Blanca. Um, you know, as we talk about this, one thing that that comes to my mind is the word grit, which means courage and resolve and strength of character. Was this something that you received as well during your experience and your encounter with the Lord?
I guess greed is more of a grace that comes from the Lord. It's not
Mm,
really something that you have in you na as a person. I guess
mm,
for me, it's really
mm,
grace.
mm,
Before this all happened, I was I'm a fearful person.
mm,
Takot akong mag-drive, takot akong umalis mag-isa. Ang dami kong fear sa buhay. That's why nung namatay si Nan talagang takot na takot ako kasi hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko. But then,
mm,
I guess with prayers talaga, you really have to pray hard and believe that the Lord will bless you with a strength. Because that's what I did. I just pray really hard. I remember a week after Nan died, after 11 years of not driving, I was able to drive. I thought I forgot how to drive a manual car. Hindi pala.
mm,
Basta nagdasal lang ako ng nagdasal and sabi ko, Lord, please, sana wala akong masagasaan. Kasi
mm,
kailangan ko talagang dalhin yung anak ko sa school.
mm,
Ganyan. Tapos, so yun. So I guess, if you pray hard enough for strength and believe that the Lord will give you the strength, the
mm,
determination, and the resolve, it will really happen. You will
mm,
really acquire that grit. God-given grit, I think. Not the grit that comes kasi magaling ka or ang
mm,
galing-galing mo, ang lakas-lakas mo. Hindi eh. It's really
mm,
God-given. Yung grit, whatever grit or strength that you will have to face whatever, I guess, challenge in life that you will have
mm.
to face.
So how have you been experiencing the Lord's blessings now after the Christian Life program, after with accomplishments that you've had?
Um, Constant naman yan eh. Yung the fact lang na okay kami during this time of the pandemic,
Mm,
that was my greatest fear. Paano pag may nangyari sa amin, it's just me, my mom, and Bianca who would we turn to. But then when I think about the Paref community that I have, the Woodrose community behind me, when I think about the BCBP community that I have, and all
mm,
the friends that outside these two communities, parang okay naman kami. That's already a big blessing. Yung the fact that we don't, 1 year into this pandemic and we're still spared from this virus is already a
mm,
blessing. And being able to
mm.
work, being able to do what, you know, my goals and my plans, I guess that's already blessing, a massive blessings for me.
So as you look back from that state of grief to where you are right now, where do you think the Lord is leading you?
I don't know actually.
Mm,
That's my prayer every day for the Lord to lead me where He wants me to go.
mm,
And every day He would direct me to people, I guess, that I need to talk to, things that
mm,
I have to do, parang ganon. So parang um, of course, I have dreams things I want to do with the Lord. Parang ganon, always dream with the Lord, diba? But then, at this point, hindi ko pa makita kung saan talaga. But
Hmm.
I think the Lord is leading me, I guess, to more service, to do more service in many
Hmm.
other ways.
How do you feel that the Lord is using, like, your book on doing His work?
Yung the grace upon grace, I think that
Hmm.
was a God-given task. That I guess that was a God-given task also that made me, I guess, fulfill one of my greatest dreams to be an author.
Hmm.
Parang it was the Lord telling me na you are to write the greatest story, which is the triumph of the human spirit.
Hmm.
So I just did what He wanted me to do. So I wrote the book, and you know, surprisingly, it has been helping a lot during this pandemic. There has been there has been people messaging me asking for the book, and I've been giving copies, especially to widows. So for those of you who wants a copy of my book, I still have a few copies here. You just send me a message, and I'm going to send you the book so you can give it to your loved ones who are going through grief. Just message me. I still have copies here. I'm not selling anymore. I'm just giving away my copies here, especially to those who are going through loss and grief right now.
Galing. Ang inspiring naman, Blanca. Actually, what hit me the most is, how God strengthened you from within. And so that as you heal, you are now becoming a pillar of strength, especially for those who are broken, no? And there's so many learnings in our conversation, but my takeaway is that, we all have limitations in terms of our strength, and we tend to depend on ourselves, our capabilities. But, God puts us in circumstances where we are completely helpless, and then it's there where He meets us, and He takes our hand, and He lifts it up, and He makes us realize that the true strength or true grit is achieved only with our dependence on Him and His grace. So, Blanca, what message would you want to leave us, especially those who have lost their loved ones in this pandemic?
Actually, I can just imagine. I can only imagine what you're going through right now, especially those who have lost their loved ones. Even if I went through grief myself, I cannot really say that I know exactly how you feel. I can only imagine. But then, if there's one thing I would want, I guess, to for you to remember is that grief is not forever. There you can also find joy in grief. So you just keep on pressing and moving forward, and I guess depend on the Lord for everything. In no time, He will turn your sorrow into joy, and also your grief, I guess, into grief.
Thank you so much, Blanca, for sharing your faith journey with us. And despite of the loss, desperation, and helplessness that this pandemic has brought, you are inspiring us to keep our focus in Christ. And you're inspiring us to lift up all our fears to Him, to put our trust in Him, to spread courage and strength to others, which we can only do through God's grace. And thank you, because this has been an empowering and inspiring evening. To all our viewers, I hope that this story of triumph and victory has filled you with the living water, which is Christ. And it is my prayer that you thirst for more. Watch our episode next week and listen to the story of a social entrepreneur who is using his breakthrough in the textile industry to create better lives by alleviating poverty. Please subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for BCBP Alabang. Remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for notifications. This is Dennis Bunye, and this is Thirsty Thursdays. Stay thirsty.
Blanca, Mare, thank you. You're one of my many blessings. Please continue to inspire us. I'm always here and I'm always proud of you. I love you.
So, Blanca, thank you for being that friend. Thank you for your love, your care, and thank you for always looking out after me. I am so lucky to have you, and I look to more years of crazy filled friendship. I love you, friend.
I'm really, really super proud of you. The whole family is really, really super proud of you for the woman that you have become and the woman you're trying to be. And I don't say this just because we're related, but because over the years we've shared a deep friendship, we've shared their ups and downs, and one thing is sure, you're a strong woman, a fierce mama, a cool person, and someone who does not let tragedy define her life, but you always overcome. You always dream big, and you dream with the Lord, and you make sure that you pass on this wisdom to your daughter, and you're raising her very well.
Mrs. De La Cruz for me is a woman who is strong, happy, funny, loving, an amazing teacher to her students, and a friend who cares and listens. She influenced me or inspired me to be a more happy and obedient child, to my family and friends, to always look on the bright side even when the worst things happen to me, and to just smile and laugh. I would like to say to her, thank you for being my teacher, my friend, my model, and I hope you have a happy life, and I hope you stay healthy.
Ms. De La Cruz is a teacher to me, a loving and caring teacher who wants her students to succeed in school so they could also have a better life. She made a pretty big impact on my life. She helped me in my studies. She also taught me many virtues that I know I will use a lot in the future. Hi, Ms. De La Cruz. Thank you so much for teaching me during grade 4. I know that I will use your lessons in my future. Thank you so much.
Mommy, I want to say to you, thank you for continuing to be a strong presence in my life, even when things got tough before. I hope you feel how much I'm proud of you and how much I love you, even as I'm growing up. I hope you know that I'm thankful that you're the one who raised me, and I hope that I can show you someday just how good of a job you did with me. Know that everything I have done and achieved was made possible through your endless love, support, and care. I love you, and thank you.
Cheers, Bianca, Blanca. Galing. Ang cute naman ng mga message ng mga students mo. Solid. Hmm. Alam mo, with the first time that I heard you deliver a live speaking engagement, no, parang there's this thing that I feel that's emanating from you, which is inner strength, diba? With what you have achieved right now, na you've written this book, and the journey of the book has really touched a lot of lives. Do you see something parang in the horizon, some sort of an advocacy or something in a larger scale? Anong leading mo, Blanca, on this?
I guess actually I've been thinking about that a lot, especially that I'm about to finish already my master's. So I've been wanting to, I don't know, create an advocacy to empower, I guess, widows, especially widows and single mothers, to help them in some way, I guess. I want to do that in the future.
How do you see yourself na starting this one? Kasi parang is this coming to you like how the idea of the book came to you, or paano siya?
Actually, that book, I've been wanting to write that for the past 6 years. Pero I also was putting it aside kasi parang ang hirap-hirap gawin. But then when I suddenly really, accepted that, oo nga, God-given task yun, I should not be dilly-dallying on it and gawin ko. Natapos ko siya agad. So I guess it's the same with this advocacy that I've been wanting and I've been thinking and wanting to happen. I guess it's just a matter of obeying whatever the prompting of the Lord is, to really reach out to widows and also I guess to single mothers, or actually to any woman who needs help. I guess that's
Mm.
the idea right now. I don't know how else we will do it, me and the Lord, but I'm sure
Mm.
like what he did with the book, he would also direct me to people who will help me bring to fruition this another dream that he's sort of like, I guess, trying to implant in my heart right now.
Yeah, and even empowerment, I think, is really for everyone. No? But sabi mo nga, I'm sure that your experience would resonate a lot to the other widows, diba? And but I'm sure that there's a lot to be learned, especially with how you had your journey. Yung sinabi mo nga kanina, yung about the journey of the book itself. Ano ba yung mga kwento mo naman sa amin yung highlights nito until hanggang dun sa tumungtong ka sa stage at tumanggap ka ng award for this?
Actually, nakakatuwa kasi lahat
Ah.
yon is all God's grace. Um, I just wrote the book, and then like I said nga, I've been praying and asking the Holy Spirit to direct me to people who would help bring the book to I guess to being published. So yon, when I was ready with my manuscript, he introduced me to the person who would later become the editor of my book na hindi ko naman kilala. But then when I just took the chance to message her, she said yes right away.
Mm.
So when I was looking for a publisher, lahat ng publishing company na tinatawagan ko, either unattended, out of coverage area and all. But then all along, I've been working pala with this publisher ng yearbook namin. And then sabi ko, why don't
Ng
I
yearbook ng school.
the yearbook ng school, because that was the
Oh.
year also that I was assigned to do the yearbook, to be the yearbook moderator. And I guess the Lord strategically put me in that position because I'm about to meet the publisher of my book, which is Angel
Wow.
Publishing. So, yun,
Okay.
sabi ko, why don't I just self-publish my book? And oo nga, eto, may kakilala na ako, the one I'm working with for the school's yearbook. So she was the publisher of the book. And then
Oh.
when we were thinking of doing the cover, sabi ko, paano, ano ba, illustration ba, drawing ba, and all. And then, of course, the ever loyal, dependable, and really, my good friend, Coach Anthony and Eloise. Parang they really,
Lazada. Oo.
yes, si
Oh.
Eloise is a very skillful photographer. So
Yes.
she volunteered to
Mm.
to do the cover of
Mm.
my book. And then while we were talking about that one, sila Boom nandun, nakichim in. So we did the photo shoot in Kila Boom and Matt's place. And it turned out really good. So yun, that's another episode for you, I guess. Kasi hindi
That was,
na enough ang time
oh,
for that. But that was a good story also.
ilang months before you this book got awarded? Kasi nakikita ko pa sa Facebook mo na dinadala yung book mo in different destinations tas
Yeah.
nagte-take ng picture,
I
di ba?
launched the book November
Oo.
2018. I was awarded September 2019. The following year lang, a matter of months.
Galing. Yeah,
Kakatuwa.
you're right. That's another episode, Blanca. Again, maraming salamat and
Thank you
cheers,
also.
Blanca. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.